Tell them.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're going to take the national anthem. So if it's safe for you to do so, if you're not talking, please can you mute yourself? Good morning, everyone. We're going to take the national anthem. If it's safe for you to do so, please rise as we take the national anthem. Thank you. First stanza only. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all our distinguished participants. The President and Chairman of the Governing Council, Malam Ahmed Ladan Gobrel, FCIPM FNLI. The Vice President, Mrs. Chidima Obiejesi, FCIPM. The National Treasurer, Mrs. Ogochukwu Egbono, FCIPM. The immediate past president, Mr. Olusegun Mojid, FCIPM FNLI. The representative of the Ministry of Labor and Employment. Elected council members present on this call. Chairman of branches, Chairman Board of Fellows, who is also the immediate past president, our governing council members, distinguished fellows of the Institute, all members of the Institute, all invited guests, I would say, for those that are non-members. Good morning and welcome to this webinar session in commemoration of the World Safety and Health Day 2026. Good health, safe workplaces, stronger organizations. And this is a free webinar session put together by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM. And the theme of today's webinar is Good Psychosocial Working Environment, Pathway to Thriving Workers and Strong Organizations. And on that note, I would like to also welcome our panelist for today, Dr. Oluwaseyi Adebayo, founder, Hidden Wellness Vitanura, Mr. Ayodeji Bankole Olushino, Chief Growth Officer, Better Life Living Benefits Limited, and a moderator, Mrs. Ellen Ejaidu, ACIPM, HR Legal, Integrated Diaries Limited. Thank you very much for agreeing to join us. And for all our participants, thank you. I would ask at this point, if it's safe for you to do so, that you all rise as we take the Institute's Code of Conduct, which I would be leading, and you'd recite after me as a member of the Institute. And when you get to I, you'd insert your name and your membership grade. Thank you. Let us rise, please. Can I have a couple of people on mute online? So I know I'm being followed. Thank you. Code of conduct. Our code of conduct. The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria.
The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria.
As the apex regulatory body for human resource management practice in Nigeria.
As the apex regulatory body for human resource management practice in Nigeria.
Is committed to the highest possible standards.
Is committed to the highest possible standards.
Of professional conduct.
Of professional conduct.
And competency among its members.
And competency among its members.
Therefore, as a member of the Institute,
Therefore, as a member of the Institute, I, Sadatu Asabe Farouk,
pledge that I shall at all times carry out my duties and responsibilities with integrity and diligence. Demonstrate competence and ethical behavior.
Demonstrate competence and ethical behavior.
In all my business. Professional. And personal activities. Respect the laws of the land. Promote, encourage, and place acceptable processes.
Promote, encourage, and place acceptable processes.
And procedures in the practice of human resource management.
And procedures in the practice of human resource management.
Within my sphere of influence.
Within my sphere of influence.
Endeavor to make personal decisions.
Endeavor to make personal decisions.
After considering all options.
After considering all options.
Of which resignation may be one.
Of which resignation may be one.
In defense of this code of conduct.
In defense of this code of conduct.
Where there are conflicts.
Where there are conflicts.
Between my professional obligations.
Between my professional obligations.
And the expectations of my job roles.
And the expectations of my job roles.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you. My name is Oluwatoyin Naiwo, FCIPM, Chartered FCIPD, Registrar Chief Executive, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Thank you very much once again for joining us on this webinar session. At this point, I would like to invite the President and Chairman of the Governing Council, Malam Ahmed Laran Gabriel, FCIPM, FNLI, to please deliver his welcome remarks. Over to you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Registrar. Let me begin by first appreciating some of the distinguished members of the Institute and our partners who are on the call. The Vice President, Mrs. Chidimma Justino Obiejesi, FCIPM, the National Treasurer, Mrs. Ogochukwu Egwonu, FCIPM, the Registrar and Chief Executive, Ms. Oluwatoyin Naiwo, FCIPM, Chartered FCIPD. The immediate past President, Mr. Olusegun Mojeed, FCIPM, FNLI, the representative of the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, the elected council members on the call, other esteemed members of the Governing Council, distinguished fellows of the Institute, our distinguished panelist, Dr. Oluwaseyi Adebayo, founder Eden Wellness and Vitanura, Mr. Adeji Bankole Olushina, Chief Growth Officer, Better Life Living Benefits Limited, and our moderator, Helen Otinue Jaidu, ACIPM, Head HR and Legal, Integrated Diaries Limited, distinguished members of CIPM, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this all-important webinar commemorating the World Day for Safety and Health at Work. Today, and as it is the practice with us in CIPM, we gather not merely to mark a date on the calendar, but to actually spotlight a truth too important to ignore. And that truth is the fact that healthy workplaces are not built by walls, they are built by well-being. For many years, when people spoke about workplace safety, our minds often dashed to helmets, goggles, earbuds, and other personal protective equipments, PPEs as we call them, fire extinguishers, warning signs, and emergency exits. These are indeed very important. But today, the conversation must go deeper because some of the deepest workplace injuries do not bleed and they do not carry blood in their veins. Some wounds do not show on X-rays. Some hazards do not wear uniforms. Stress, anxiety, burnout, bullying in the workplace, isolation, toxicity, and toxic leadership and fear are silent burdens that can drain energy, crush creativity, weaken morale, and quietly break the spirit of even the most talented employee. That is why our theme today, good psychosocial working environments, a pathway to thriving workers and strong organizations, is both timely and indeed very urgent. Permit me to say it this way. When the mind is under siege, performance goes into hiding. When dignity is absent in the workplace, productivity packs its bag and runs away. When people are valued, potential finds its voice. When well-being thrives, organizations flourish. A thriving organization is not built only on profit margins. I'm sure we all know that, but on the peace of mind. It is not sustained only by strategy. It is sustained oftentimes by the stability of the human spirit. Now, there is a short story, a very common story of two factories. Both factories had the same type of machines, same budget, and same market opportunities. Yet, one factory was said to have flourished while the other factory struggled. Research was eventually later to show that the answer to this was very simple. Whilst in one factory, workers were managed, in the other factory, workers were cared for. One had supervisors, the other factory had leaders. So whilst one measured hours, the other measured humanity. Now that is the difference between psychosocial well-being and just managing employees. That is the difference that psychosocial well-being makes in the workplaces. The lesson is very simple. Even the best seeds struggle to germinate in very bad soil. So employees are seeds of every organization. In healthy soil, talent grows. But in a toxic and unhealthy soil, brilliance often fades away and potential dries up. At CIPM, we believe people are not just resources to be used, but they are treasures to be nurtured. The strongest organizations, are those where employees feel safe to speak, feel supported to grow, and feel respected in difficult seasons and inspired to give their best. At CIPM, we are committed to raising globally relevant HR professionals who are competent, who are ethical, who are strategic, and who are future ready. That is why we continue to create platforms like this webinar, which is free, insightful, and transformational, because our members deserve nothing less than excellence. This is why today's conversation is also very valuable and very germane. We are privileged to have with us a medical doctor, Dr. Oluwaseyi Adebayo, who will help us understand the health implications for healthy work environment. We have with us a very strong advocate of mental well-being, a long-term friend of the Institute, Ayodeji Bankole Olushina, who will shed light on the emotional and psychological dimensions of workplace wellness. And we do have the privilege of a seasoned HR professional and a lawyer at that as a moderator, someone who will guide this discussion with passion, with practical and critical questions relevant to our workplaces today. Please join me in appreciating them for taking time out of their very busy schedules to share knowledge that can transform lives and organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember this. A company can survive with tired systems for a while, but it cannot thrive with tired people. When you spend time renovating your offices and painting them in beautiful colors to impress visitors and clients, please make sure you also spend time repainting the spirits of your employees, because inspired people are the true colors of every organization. And the future of work belongs to organizations that understand that caring for minds is as important as caring for machines, and protecting dignity is as vital as protecting data. The organizations that will lead tomorrow and into the future are those organizations that protect not only hands that work, but the hearts that actually carry the work. So as we engage today, may we live not only informed, but may we live transformed. May employers become more intentional, leaders more compassionate, and workplaces more humane for us all to work. Thank our speakers again, Dr. Oluwaseyi Adebayo, Ayodeji Bankole Olushina, and our moderator, Helen Otino Ejaido, for agreeing to do this for all of us. Thank you for joining us. I wish us all a very deeply enriching and impactful session. God bless you all. God bless CIPM. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For at CIPM, we deliver value through people. Thank you. Madam Registrar, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for those words. And that has actually laid a foundation for the conversation today. And I think we're going to have we're going to have a very interesting conversation with our seasoned panelist and our moderator as well. And please don't get bamboozled with the psychosocial. And that's the word I've actually been thinking about in the last few days. So at this point, I would like to welcome our moderator, Mrs. Ellen Ejaidu, ACIPM, Ed, HR and Legal, Integrated Diaries Limited, to please take over the session. Thank you, Mrs. Helen Ejaidu. Over to you.
Thank you very, very much, Ma. Good morning. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and fellow HR professionals. Welcome to CIPM's World Safety and Health Day webinar. I am Helen Otino Ejaidu, CIPM, and I'll be your moderator for today. Before we begin, I would like to recognize formally the visionary leadership of the President and Chairman of the Governing Council of our Institute, Malam Ahmed Ladan Gobir, the Vice President, the National Treasurer, the Registrar CEO, and indeed all members of the Governing Council. We thank you for consistently positioning CIPM at the forefront of global conversations on human capital sustainability. And thank you also for your commitment to the People First agenda. I'm excited to be here today on behalf of myself and the esteemed panelists for today's webinar. I say a very big thank you for giving us the opportunity to drive this morning's conversation. Our theme for today's webinar is Good Psychosocial Working Environment, a pathway to thriving workers and strong organizations. You know, historically, when we talk about occupational safety, what usually comes to mind is wet floors, PPEs, helmets, and all of that. The president rightly mentioned that in his opening comments. But today, we're not just talking about protecting employees and ourselves from physical injuries, because the narrative has changed. There are more dangerous hazards that are invisible. Talk about chronic stress, talk about burnout, toxic culture. A toxic boss, I must say, is as hazardous to an employee's health as a faulty machine. And with the current economic pressures in Nigeria, mental health and emotional well-being are no longer HR perks. They are now business imperatives. Now, joining me to unpack this conversation this morning are two distinguished experts, Mr. Ayodeji Bankole Olushina. He is a wellness advocate and he is the Chief Growth Officer of Better Life Living Benefits. Can I see some reactions from our participants this morning to celebrate him? We also have, as a panelist, Dr. Oluwaseyi Adebayo. She is a medical doctor and the founder of Eden Wellness Vitanaura. She's a doctor and a corporate wellness expert. She sits at the intersection of health and performance, helping professionals not just to function, but to thrive. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us this morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayodeji, for being part of this panelist as well. And to all our participants on the call, trust me, would invite you and would also like you to be part of this engagement. If you have any questions or comments as we proceed, kindly make use of the Q&A section, not the chat box, please, and drop your questions there, your comments as well. And when it is time, we would go through those and make you part of this discussion this morning. All right. Let's dive right in without much ado, and I will start with you, Mr. Ayodeji. Let's set the foundation for our conversation. We've mastered helmets, fire drills, we've talked about the hard things already, but when we talk about psychosocial safety, why is it now the most critical frontier for operational excellence? We have HR professionals on the call, and we want to know why HR leaders must view a toxic environment with the same sense of urgency as a fire hazard. Talk to us.
Thank you, Helen. It's nice to be here. And I must also always appreciate the CIPM and what they're doing with these conversations that we have. Helen, profitability, productivity is at risk. And when we talk about productivity, it then ties to the main survival of the business in itself. It is absolutely clear, and it's now clear knowledge, or available knowledge, that the well-being of the people has its impact on the productivity and the sustainability of the business. So it has become urgent because businesses must survive for us to thrive, or we must thrive so that the businesses will survive, whichever way. Now, let's look at data. Better Life has a well-being. We pride ourselves as the ones who actually own the data for well-being at workplace in Nigeria. And our 2025 data tells us that 18.6% of the employees have reported on burnout, high risk of burnout. 55.7% are experiencing moderate risk of burnout. If my maths is right, that tells me that 76% about of the workplace, of the employees, are experiencing burnout one way or the other. It just means that 7 plus out of 10 people at work are experiencing burnout. And the burnout age peaks at between age 25 to age 35, with a global average of 32. Now, if we pride ourselves in Africa Nigeria prides itself as the biggest population, and we pride ourselves with our youth. But the youth is actually experiencing burnout. How does that impact productivity going forward? And these are raw facts from our well-being at workplace survey. So the point is, one, productivity is really at risk. The other thing is loyalty is also at risk. And loyalty is not necessarily a bad word when it comes to the workplace. You want people who are emotionally connected with what they're doing. And once loyalty is out of the window, or they're not loyal to the task or the environment, then you know what happens next. You have a free door of people leaving, or people not committing to what they're doing, or they're not giving their best at their work. So the reason that HR leaders must handle this with urgency is that productivity is at risk, loyalty is at risk, our corporate survival is actually at risk. And I think that already speaks volumes. I mean, gone are the days when we kept HR people at the rear of doing things, and we didn't bring them into strategic conversations in management. But now it is clear that the HR leader holds the key to the survival of the business. So it's important that we all contribute to having safe workplaces such that we can produce, our productivity can be high, and the quality, the mindset of our people can thrive. Helen, I believe I've done some work to this question.
Absolutely, absolutely. You actually have. That's an interesting data out there. About 76% of employees experiencing burnout. And like you rightly said, productivity is at risk. Business sustainability is most definitely at risk. What webinars like this help us to recall and ensure is that we must protect our most valuable asset, and that's the people. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayodele. I'll come back to you. Dr. Oluwaseyi, please talk to us. Let's have your take on our theme this morning. Like we mentioned earlier, we've spent decades perfecting the hard side of safety. From where you sit, how do you define the link between an employee's mental environment and the actual strength of the organization? What does this topic mean to you in the current economic climate? Let's have your take on our topic. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and I'm happy to be here today. And thank you to CIPM for putting this together. So when we talk about, to me, a good psychosocial working environment simply means a workplace where people feel safe. And not just physically, because most times when we say safe, we, just like you said earlier, you're talking about PPEs or the airments or the gloves. No, but now we're talking about the mental safety, emotional safety, safe to speak, safe to disagree, and safe to rest, and safe to be human again. And when people feel that kind of safety, things, something remarkable happens. They stop surviving the work and start being elevated by it. And this is what true thriving means. And when you have a thriving workers are not only the foundation on which a truly strong organization can be built, because healthy people build healthy companies. So it's that simple, and that's the strategy. And that's what, to me, that's what a good psychosocial working safety and the environment is.
Very interesting perspective there, Doctor. Thank you. Employees need to be safe to speak before they can thrive in the workplace. Mr. Ayodele, let's take this further, and from a very practical perspective as well. Let's talk about the professional mask. Interestingly, we've seen it all. The staff who looks perfectly fine, but internally that employee is drained. Many employees, unfortunately, in today's workplace, wear this professional mask while battling with internal depletion. Unfortunately, there are times they are unable to speak or even to seek support. What are the silent red flags of a failing culture that a manager might miss because they are only looking at the KPIs, the key performance indicators?
Well, the point where we are now in management and leadership, it's clear to us that you must be looking not just at KPIs, but you must be looking at those who the state of those who are going to deliver on those KPIs. So little things. I mean, incidentally, yesterday I was having a conversation with one of our would-be clients, and this person was talking to me about a practice in Enugu, and she has only noticed this in the Enugu environment, or two things that she actually spoke about. She said, I mean, because their business is a nationwide business. She said they noticed that in Enugu, women leave the workplace at about 1 o'clock, between 12 and 1. And what do they leave for? They leave to go and pick their children in school. Because it has become culture or cultural for parents to pick their children in school. So they pick their children in school, take them back home, and come back to work. And it has become standard for businesses in Enugu State to observe that. Now, where you find that a business a business that is then responding negatively to that kind of culture, you're sure will have issues on productivity delivery. Or if an HR lead comes in and he says, oh, I've just been posted from Lagos, and no, in Lagos, we don't work like this, or no, in head office, we don't behave like this, then you won't be able to get the best from the people in that environment, because that has become, they're used to it. And it's something that we can actually inculcate, because it is important. I mean, no parent who has children in school will want to be at work and wondering, oh, are my children being picked by Uber, or they're being picked by domestic help, or blah, blah, blah. You don't get the best of that kind of person, whether the person is a father or is a mother, as long as the person has words who are out there in school. Another thing that this person told me was that in this same Enugu State, at every Saturday, people are out exercising. And that has become a culture for the society. So the point is, you must then think about what is important to your people. And you must be sure to ensure that you are in line with helping them thrive. And you're not just looking or gauging what their delivery is by the KPIs. Because if you're looking at KPIs only and you're getting KPIs, it might not be sustained. It just might not be sustained. Because if people are not at rest in their minds and concerning the things that are important to them, then the sustainability of delivery on KPIs will be at jeopardy. And that can be a red flag when people find that you are not going to support them to achieve. I'll give you another quick story. Several years, not several, but quite a number of years ago, I was the chief executive of an insurance company, and I was doing a recruitment. I was recruiting a head of strategy at senior management level. And when he came into my office, the first things we talked about was family and how what kind of family he has, his child. And, I also shared stories about my family. And he told me after I took the job that he decided to work with me because he realized that family was important to me. And because family is important to him, he knew that this was somebody that I could work with. Now, he also told me from day one that he always wanted to pick his daughter from school. That was the only child he had at the time, and that was important to his family. And I let him be. And we had a fantastic working relationship together. I believe, Helen, that I have done some work to the question you just asked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayodeji. Most definitely you have. We have HR professionals on the call, and we have quite a number of persons from other disciplines. Like I said earlier, we've seen this manifest across board where employees would mask the feeling of burnout and just focus on delivering on task and expectations. Meanwhile, unfortunately, sometimes managers miss these red flags and these signs, and they just keep on with the work. But like Mr. Ayodeji mentioned, this practice is not sustainable because it would lead to a situation where overall long term, the business would not meet its corporate objective. And I must also add that when you experience silence within the team and they are no longer asking questions or challenging some engagements or some strategies on the table, it's not because they are aligned, it's because they've checked out already due to burnout. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji. Every worker or employee in the workplace requires support, and we must understand that and appreciate it. Dr. Oluwaseyi, let me come back to you this time. You know, in Nigeria, I would say the word resilience has been misconstrued, right? These days, we use it in the context of pushing through. You just want to get things done. Even when you know deep within yourself that you're already burnt out, you do not have the energy anymore to get the work done. From a medical standpoint, what is the long-term biological debt we pay when we ignore chronic headaches or insomnia to meet a deadline? Does the body eventually bankrupt? Let us hear you.
Okay, yes, thank you, Helen. So, yeah, especially in Nigeria, we wear exhaustion like a medal, and but the body keeps the receipt, and one day it's going to ask for it, and you're going to present the bill, and it's going to be compounded, like you have to pay it big time. So, and when this happens, when you ignore insomnia, you've been trying to sleep, you have difficulty sleeping, you are not just tired, you are the way the brain processes keeps declining. You get to, you deprive yourself of sleep. And the most time when you deprive yourself of sleep, you're actually shrinking the parts of the brain that makes the decision. Because of that, that would elevate your cortisol. It's going to suppress your immunity. And most times you see professionals saying that, oh, they have malaria all the time. They have typhoid. Even though by the time they do the test, they check in the hospital, they run their labs, there is nothing, but they are just, the immunity is down. Your insulin is, the way you process your sugar is dysregulated, and hormonal imbalance, sets in. So a lot of times, the chronic headache you talked about is often a body smoke alarm for unresolved stress, dehydration, or hormonal imbalance. And that's why they tell you that whenever you have headaches, you would see some doctors will tell you that, okay, have you taken enough water? Are you taking enough water? Go and take more water. And by the time you take water, you get better. So that's to tell you what's some of the reasons behind the chronic headache. So it's just like I said, it's just often the body's smoke alarm for unresolved stress, dehydration, and hormone imbalance. I am repeating that. And most times, over time, by the time we put all of this together, we're actually trading our future health for heart diseases, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune flare-ups. Like lately, you'd see that the rate at which women are getting lupus is really high, rheumatoid arthritis, and all sorts of autoimmune issues. They flare up, and early cognitive decline. Same thing as infertility too. So, take for example, let's use this as an example. A sleep-deprived employee would perform at a cognitive level that is, you look like somebody that is drunk. Just imagine when you don't have enough sleep. You know how it feels. Same thing happens when it has been piled up over time. And the problem is that the company pay twice. When you keep making this mistake and mistake over again, you keep paying twice on medical bills, and eventually you're still going to replace the staff. And at that point, you might even be paying more money. So these are things, and I know this because these are things I see in my practice too, because I see recently, you have executives come into the practice in their late 30s, their late 40s, they're already battling with hypertension, pre-diabetes, diabetes, hormonal issues, and this is what we call high functioning, they're exhausted, high functioning exhaustion. So these are people that are earning well, but they are unable to enjoy themselves without crashing. So the body keeps sending, and the body has been sending this memo for years, but they sometimes they read it and sometimes they don't even understand it. So what I'm going to advise is that for every employee, you have to block one non-negotiable. You have to ensure that you are telling them that they have to sleep very well. Phones out of the bedroom. Like I tell my people when they come in, as my clients, make sure that you just have to take your phone out of the bedroom or just put it on side. You have to be very disciplined to get this done. And I think was it last week I was seeing my HR, she came up with something and I was like, oh, this is good. She said, I don't know what she had observed, but she said, okay, that during anytime from 2, just take a 30-minute nap. She gave them that privilege. Just take a 30-minute nap, sleep. And I'm sure with that will also increase productivity also. So so again, another thing again is this, things I've also seen, except it's an emergency rather, a lot of times you see in workplace, people are still checking their work mails after 8 p.m. So you may also want to try this for the next 1 week. Just ensure that no work emails after 8 p.m. after 6 p.m. depending on your company's policy, and see if this would actually improve productivity. But as you're also doing this, you're also telling them, you're also intentional about it, letting them know that you are doing this because you need them to have their non-negotiable 7 hours of sleep. Put their phones aside. Mrs. Ellen, I hope this answered them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Oluwase. You made some very critical and vital points. It's that the body has been sending us memos for years. And for all participants on the call, I'd like us to do a quick check. How many times have you received these memos and you've ignored? Doctor mentioned that chronic headache is the body's smoke alarm. Do we just shut down this alarm like we do with our usual alarm and just to move on, to keep pushing on and doing the work? These memos that we're receiving from our body, we need to pay more attention because we have to be in the right frame of mind to get any work done. For our relevance to continue, we have to be in the right frame of mind and also in good health. Doctor, I would stay with you, right? I would stay with you. Now, I understand the part that we need to take out time to rest. Understand the part that we need to pay more attention to these memos, read them, and take right steps. And one critical point you also made is the fact that sometimes when organizations are putting employees under pressure to get work done, even at the expense of their health, we're also losing in some other way, which is medical bills. We're paying more in that regard. But coming back to you, let's talk about the gratitude trap. You know the way it is. Unfortunately, you would hear most employees say, thank God I even have a job, right? Thank God I have a job. Thank God I have something to do. I do not have a choice. I have to move on and get these things done. In this economy, how do we shift from that gratitude at all cost mindset to one where dignity and safety are non-negotiable standards, even during financial instability?
Okay, as we all know, the economy is very tough, and that is the truth. That is true rather, but gratitude and dignity too are not opposite. Yeah, you can thank God for the job and still expect to be treated like a human while doing it. So that is key. One does not cancel the other. So, but yes, as much as we want to be grateful for the job we have, we don't also want this to silence us from talking, from saying what is on our mind. So we must separate these two things: appreciation for opportunity and acceptance of being your employee mistreating you. So gratitude does not require self-erasure. Like you have to, a worker can be deeply thankful and still deserve psychological safety, fair workload, and respect. So, and while I was doing my research, I read that at some point in 2023 and 2024, the Nigeria tech companies and a few forward-thinking banks, handled the way they handled the economic squeeze, that the ones that communicated transparently, protected the well-being, and kept dignity intact retained their core members, while the ones that doubled down on the being grateful, actually lost their talent to competitors and to the Jackpot syndrome. So that is something I saw while I was researching. So gratitude is actually a posture of the heart, not a license for you to be disrespected. You can hold both. Thank you. You can be thank you for this opportunity, and you still deserve to be treated with respect and everything. So for all HR managers, so my advice would be that we review our employee handbook, identify one policy that quickly undermines dignity. It could be excessive after hours expectation, unclear grievances pathway, and we just have to be committed to reversing our employee handbook. Then we also need to write down 3 non-negotiable workplace standards. That's something we want to be known for, something that would make our staff feel safe psychologically. And knowing them is the first act. Knowing all of these is actually the first act of protecting them and putting all of these in place.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor, to all the leaders on the call and managers. If your employees are with you because they are grateful they have a job and not because they feel well treated, you do not have a team, you have a hostage situation instead. So we need to pay more attention and balance it. Very important. Mr. Ayodeji, let me come to you at this point. Okay. Let's talk about leadership and the place of leaders in this whole conversation around psychosocial working environment, good psychosocial working environment. If we're to conduct a safety audit on leadership, would you regard toxic behavior, would you flag that as a high hazard risk? How does a fearful culture physically impair an employee's cognitive focus and situational awareness on the job? Okay, if you're speaking, I think you're muted. We can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Clearly, thank you.
Yes.
We
Hear
can
me
hear
now?
you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, please, go ahead.
All right. And thank you for asking a question, particularly concerning leadership, because in this part, leadership is still a concept that we're coming to terms with. We have possibly inherited a master-slave mindset when we think about leadership. Whereas it is always important, first of all, as your question says, yes, it is right to flag poor leadership in the regards of high-risk hazard as a no-no in any environment because of the direct impact it has on the people in that community. Now, it is important that the workplace, the leader helps people around to be at their best, to thrive. A leader also sets the tone, right? So it is important that, one, contribution is encouraged. An environment that does not encourage contribution, that is the voice of other people, actually kills innovation. If you do not allow other people to bring their views to the table or to the conversation, then you cannot make progress in those kind of environments. So it's important that people can contribute. It's because it aids innovation. It's important that alternative view is respected and encouraged. Because, I mean, the world is full of different people. Different mindsets would always bring a different view to any issue. So, yes, 100% leaders must be judged as to what they lead, how their leadership style encourages this kind of positive things in an environment. So if we need to look again at what our judgment of leaders is, it's very important. I mean, when you have an environment where when the leader speaks, no other person is speaking, or when the leader comes into the room, everywhere goes quiet, that's a toxic environment. And those are things that you must watch out for. And those are things then that you must judge leadership by, and you must put in the KPIs of leaders, so that you can also help leaders to change their ways of leadership. It's almost the norm for us to come to the workplace, because some of us, our problems really is not at the workplace. Our problem started at home. It's the type of families that we were raised in. Parents are speaking, they cannot speak. The elder is speaking, they cannot speak. So they bring that style to the workplace. But we can actually help them to think differently and start to lead differently, because there's now a convergence between the home, the family, and the workplace. So I hope I've done some justice, Hurley.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Ayodeji. Yes, you have. We're reminded that as leaders, we set the tone and we also help people to thrive. Silence kills innovation, and I really agree with you. The biggest red flag isn't noise, really. When your employees are engaging with you, asking questions, seeking alignments, asking for clarification, then I tell you, you have a good team. You have a team that is still ready to work with you, contribute, and see how things can head towards the desired outcome. But the moment they are no longer speaking, the moment they are no longer asking questions, that's a great red flag. And what happens? It kills innovation, particularly now that we have different generations in the workplace. We must understand how to work with everybody, so that as individuals and as organizations, we can always achieve our objectives. So thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji.
Hello.
Are you with me, doctor?
Hello. Yeah, I could not. Can you repeat
Doctor,
yourself? Hello. Please, could you please repeat your question? I lost you for a moment. Hello.
Okay, Dr. Adebayo, I think it's
Yes,
network. She'll be back.
yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, is
What
Helen
was the
back
question?
shortly. She'll be back shortly. I think she
Okay.
just got thrown out. Just hold on a minute, please.
can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, sincere apologies. I had a network glitch. All right, doctor, let's talk a bit about the people, right? Beyond just feeling tired, sometimes you find your peers, your employees, your direct report complain about feeling tired, they are fatigued, they are overwhelmed. But beyond all of these signs that we're conversant with, what clinical patterns are you seeing in the Nigerian workers lately that leaders absolutely cannot afford to ignore anymore? Are there clinical patterns? If there are, please kindly share with us.
Okay, so the common clinical patterns are premature hormone decline. And I'm going to explain this. Now, you see women and men in their early 30s presenting with symptoms typical of perimenopause. And this is something you should be having close to your, maybe in your late in your 40s, They present with fatigue, brain fog, irregular cycles, weight gain despite everything they are doing. The weight is not just dropping, it's not moving, low libido, and men in their 30s and early 40s too are battling with low testosterone, poor recovery, and low sexual drive. And this chronic stress is a known suppressor for reproductive and thyroid hormone. So another one is that they are just the tired but wired syndrome. That's what we call it. They are exhausted all day, can't sleep at night, and the stress response system is stuck in just one position. It's not moving. So another one is blood sugar dysregulation and weight gain, just like I've said earlier, because most times they get to sit for many hours, they are not moving, plus the chronic stress, plus the poor sleep, plus the ultra processed diet, because a lot of times they don't even have enough time to even maybe make plans for their meal. So this would actually lead to type 2 diabetes. So that's why these days you see that previously, maybe for when you see clients and they tell you that, oh, they have diabetes, they are likely in their 60s, but now we're seeing people in their 30s battling with diabetes. Anxiety is also another pattern, and it presents as physical symptoms, presents as palpitation, chest tightness, gut distress. You know, when your gut tells your digestive system is distressed and everything, could actually present as anxiety, recurrent headache, and patients are being investigated repeatedly, and they keep showing that they have some. Okay, so sometimes some people even show that they have normal results, but they are still anxious. They are having palpitation, chest tightness, and you've checked everything. They are not battling with heartburn. They are not battling with any gut health issue, and still. So that's to tell you that this diagnosis is psychosocial, but we keep treating the symptoms, not knowing that we have to go deeper and treat something deeper. So functional infertility too. Couples in their 30s, no clear pathology, that is no clear reasons, no clear cause, but just two people that are stressed, body exhausted. You know, sometimes when you're stressed, especially for women, the channel, the way the hormones is being processed differs, because the hormone that should be in charge of reproduction is being channeled to take charge of the stressful part. So that's ahead. That's okay. Let me just break it down. Like the progesterone should be the calm hormone, but when the body is in a state of fight and flight, the cortisol takes over. And when you have high cortisol, really fertility will be a challenge. Then we also have depression too. Yeah, they're still showing up, they're still delivering, but joyless, irritable, withdrawn at home. Some are even withdrawn at home, withdrawn at work again. So, and this is very this is the most underdiagnosed. So these conditions, they don't just affect the individual, they affect decision making, creativity, conflict resolution, and the team dynamic. A company full of all these metabolically and hormonally depleted employees cannot really innovate and cannot lead well and cannot retain the talents. It can only survive. It can only survive.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Doctor. I hope we all paid rapt attention to Doctor speak to us about these clinical patterns and things we cannot afford to ignore anymore. And to be honest, it's not just about the leaders paying more attention. Even we as employees, as humans generally, we also have the responsibility. We owe ourselves that much obligation to also pay attention and understand it. Think about it. In your 30s, in your 40s, you're already having issues around diabetes, anxiety, fertility issues. And it would interest you to learn today from doctor that some of these issues are traced to psychosocial safety matters. So we no longer have an option. These are non-negotiable standards that we must ensure. And it takes two to tango, really. So both employees and employers, all hands must be on deck for this to be ensured. And that's the health, safety, mental well-being of all workers across board. Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing that with us. Very much insightful. Most often than not, some of us feel very tired, fatigued, and we just tell ourselves, you know what, all I need is 1 hour sleep. All I need is 2 hours sleep and I will be fine. Do not run into conclusions. Seek medical help from experts so that you can know for a fact what the underlying issues are, if any. It's better to be safe than sorry, as a matter of fact. Thank you so much, Doctor. Mr. Ayodeji, let me come back to you. And on this point, I would like us to talk about wellness programs. Wellness programs, these are things that most organizations do in recent times. Unfortunately, you can have a Wellness Wednesday and then you have a Toxic Monday because you're back again to the culture that does not support the wellness and the well-being of your people. Now, can wellness programs actually thrive or succeed in a toxic culture, or do we require a structural cultural change? Is that the only way for us to move forward? Thank you, Mr. Ayodit.
The question is a simple one. It's a resounding yes.
Yes.
It's a resounding yes. Our attitude towards the work environment completely has to change. Just thinking about it honestly, I think all the toxicity is rooted in what we view the workplace as. How do we see colleagues? Do we see the workplace as I'm a leader or I'm the manager, and therefore I have situational position and every position above the other person? And how do we see the other person? My servant. And servanthood or master servant attitude, really, it's mindset. I don't have to call him my servant. Even the way I behave to him, the way I speak to him. So HR must look out for those things, and there must be a complete structural change about how we view work, how we see our colleagues, how we relate to our colleagues. And you hit it on the head when you said we have a Wellness Wednesday and then we have a Toxic Thursday. So it's just Wellness Wednesday is just to mark, it's just for what's it called, our KPI. Oh, what do you do? I mean, it Better Life, I mean, for the whole of the month of May, we are going into what it looks like in Nigeria's healthy workspaces. So look out for that in our own space, and you'll see some things that we'll bring out. But the point that I'm making is that there has to be a complete structural change that is then norm in an environment. And that is really what can make the wellness or the well-being initiatives or well-being programs work. It's important that there's a total change from top to bottom. And it's no longer HR's job. It doesn't start and end with HR. It actually starts from the boardroom and goes straight down to the shop floor. I mean, how do you see the security man at the door? When you look at him, what does it look like to you? The cleaner, what does that person look like to you? The clerk, what do they look like to you? The executive assistant at the door of your office, what do they look like to you? And those are the things that we must think about and process in ensuring that everybody is on this workplace well-being journey. And I hope that I have done some justice to your question, Helen.
Absolutely, Mr. Ayodeji, absolutely. I agree with you. And HR professionals and, of course, business leaders, this is for you. It shouldn't be just about ticking the boxes, right? It's good to have wellness programs, but if you have a toxic culture, your wellness programs will just be you ticking the boxes, and we need to do and act differently. Where there is a need for structural cultural change, please let's make it a project. Let's take it seriously and ensure that those changes are made. We have some questions in our Q&A section. Our participants want to join the conversation. Permit me to ask a few questions from here. Okay, I know that Doctor has spoken to this. What are the most common health issues currently affecting employees due to economic stress, and how can HR proactively address them? Permit me to add another question to it, which is that beyond HMOs, what other cost-effective health support systems can organizations introduce? Dr. Oluwaseyi, do you want to speak to this, please? Thank you. Dr. Oluwaseyi, can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm muted. Okay, so
Dr. Oluwaseyi.
yes, I
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Yes. Did you get my question?
Yes, I got it.
Please go ahead.
So beyond HMO, here are things cost effective. You said cost effective plans that organizations can implement, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So number one is ensuring that like you said, like we said earlier, wellness programs are really not in a toxic space. A wellness program will not be the first solution, will not be the first step and everything. But the first step is you identifying that okay, this space is even toxic and we want to improve the health and well-being of our staff. So once you're able to identify those things, then easily bringing in a wellness program in can now work, because what the wellness programs do over time is that they bring in measures and tools that can help the body relax. So now where the world is going into now is the nervous system regulation. When I talk about nervous system regulation, that is ensuring the body is in a state of calm. You are peaceful. Yes, you have anxiety, you have so many things happening around the world, but you just know that, oh, I am calm. So we want the body not to be in a state of fight and flight anymore. We want the body to be in a state, we want the body to be calm. So wellness programs are very important. Then ensuring that your staff too also imbibe some habits too, which the organization can also implement. Like I tell my staff and people that know me around me that, oh, let your staff go for massages. I'm not, when you go to the spa, there are other therapies. I really don't care about the facials and the lights, but I'm talking about massage, because a lot of times in this part of the world, we feel that going to get a body massage is luxury. It's actually not luxury. I can say this for a fact because I'm a living, yes, I am a living testimony to this. There was a time that my body is just always in the fight and flight mode and everything. But the moment I started understanding how to calm myself down, understand the nervous system, how it works, that's one of the ways you could actually make it better is by getting a massage and everything. Let the body just be calm. Get somebody to press the body, touch it, and so that it is calm. So it's actually a way to also, these are also things, some of the things you can actually include in their routine also. Then deliberate exercise too. You can actually work with your team in such a way that you put them in you have tools for them or times for them that we need to have these exercises. It can be if you have enough space, it can even be in the workspace. They all come with their gym wears and everything, their exercise, their fitness wear rather, and they do the exercise, because exercise also helps improves bonding and also improves blood circulation to the brain. Helen, I hope I answered this well.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. There's so much that we can all do as leaders and HR professionals to support our team. I mean, you can organize hikes, take long walks like Doctor mentioned, and so much more. Thank you, Doctor, for sharing. For want of time, I'll just proceed to pick one or two more questions so that we can respond to our participants. And Mr. Ayodeji, this is for you. In the case of bullying, manipulations, gaslighting, and marginalization, which can cause mental health issues, I quite agree. How can one step in as an HR, and how can handbooks and policies target such issues?
And the interesting thing about psychosocial risks is that they are not seen. They are just the way that people behave and the kind of attitude that they bring into a room. I think that HR must unveil all these attitudes. We must, as HR leaders, unveil and define these behaviors, call them out in our handbook. Because if we ask, typically, I've been working for about 30 years, and I don't want to mention names of places, but we knew certain places with certain behaviors. And we just thought, no, it's how they behave there. Oh, there is how they behave. That's their culture. And we just accepted those cultures. But HR must actually define this new toxic behavior and call them out in handbooks. I'm going to say something, very interesting. Do you know that it is actually rude to actually define somebody by how they look in terms of their body type? Oh, Orobo. Oh, they're fat. Those are I'm happy that the doctor just talked about it. You don't know the stage of life and what they're dealing with, and you refer to them like that. It actually goes to their mind, and it affects the way they see themselves. And if you continue to then make those kind of negative pronunciations on people in the workplace, it actually affects their mindset. So
absolutely,
not continue to just have handbooks they just say, oh, bullying. What is bullying?
I agree.
What is abuse? Define it so that we know it, and then people know what they should not do, and that helps the environment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayodeji. I agree with you. We as professionals, we must define the behaviors that we want to promote, behaviors that would support the business objectives and strategies. That's primarily for us to ensure. When behaviors are defined, there will definitely not be any confusion within the workplace. No assumptions at all, and everybody will be on the same page. Thank you so much for that. Doctor, let me come to you on this question that we have, and would wrap up very shortly in the interest of time. In as much as we're discussing how leadership, very interesting question, in as much as we're discussing how leadership of organizations can keep the workforce safe in terms of mental health, don't you think that we should discuss the mental health issues the Gen Zs are creating for leadership in the workplace? What would be your take on this question? Just in 1 minute, Dr. Oluwaseyi. Thank you very much. Just in 1 minute.
Okay, so I think Mr. Ayodeji mentioned something earlier about cultural issues. So for the Gen Zs, yeah, truly, we are seeing a lot of things that some of them are not even considering the leadership, even when the leadership are trying their best. So maybe one of the ways is to just, once you identify them, the Gen Zs in your environment, maybe it's to sit them down and start talking to them, advise them. And when I talk about advice, I'm talking about in-depth advice now, telling them, showing them examples, data, things that have happened in the past, and how they need to be inclined or devote themselves more to the organization so that they can also be impacted too.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. I agree with you, and behaviors just needs to be defined. When behaviors are defined in the workplace, there will be no room for assumptions at all. Mr. Ayodeji, let me come to you on this one, and I would appreciate if you just take a minute to respond to it, because we really cannot have this conversation without also considering the bottom line and profitability of the business. In an era of quiet quitting, can we objectively prove that well-being is the engine behind profitability? Or is it possible to sustain a profitable company with a burned out staff in the long run? Just 1 minute. Thank you.
1 minute.
I can hear you. Yes, please. Thank you.
What Summit tells us is that 75% of our people are burnt out. But do we have profitable organizations? Yes, we do have profitable organizations. However, what is the cost of burnout? Is it possible that productivity and profitability will be higher if we had less burnt out people?
Okay.
That's a question that we have not been able to answer. That's a question that we are trying to answer in Better Life with our survey. And in 2026, we're coming up with better questions that will help in that. We need to understand the cost. The fact that we have profitable companies does not mean that people are not burnt out, and does not mean that burnout will actually bring more profits. And it is clear on that. So yes, we can see that companies are profitable, but people are burnt out. So if we reduce burnout, most likely we would have more profits. So we need to fight and eradicate, we might not be able to eradicate it to 100%, but we need to reduce burnout in the workplace.
Thank you, Mr. Ayodiji. You know, when you talked about the cost, something came to mind. Sometimes we do not even understand the extent of reputational damage that high attrition can cause a particular organization. When people leave your business due to issues of psychosocial safety, well-being, mental issues, especially in the era that we are at now, what is also adding to your reputation as a business is that you're already at risk. So it's very, very important for us managers and leaders to pay attention to the mental well-being and health of all our employees, because in the long run, yes, you would get people, right? But your attrition rates will be high. People are in and out of your business. And when it comes to burning out, it's not like a machine that you can easily fix within a period of time. When an individual burns out, it takes a good period of time to have that person back fully on track. I believe doctor would agree with me on this one. I'm not a medical expert, but I want to believe that when you experience chronic stress and you're burnt out, your cognitive focus will be impacted and it will be difficult for you to contribute effectively to the business. Thank you so much, doctor, for sharing those insights with us. Let me come to you quickly, doctor, and let's talk about the systemic bias that I believe might be one of our issues. Would you agree that we still see a systemic bias towards fixing burnout through medical leave, rehabilitation, and all of that, instead of investing in preventive measures that would stop the burning out fire in the long run? Talk to us.
Okay, so the problem is because we have built a corporate culture that treats burnouts like a flood that we just mop up instead of fixing the pipe that is leaking. So so the bias still exists because prevention is invisible. You know, when prevention works, nothing happens and nothing is hard for the budget. So recovery can be very dramatic and visible. Then we also have the bias mindset of reactive medicine. Like our medicine and corporate system are both built around treating diseases, not building health, not building wellness, not building well-being. Like we just wait for the breakdown before we talk about prevention. And that is why you see people even that have thousands of millions of naira, and you're talking to them about preventive measures and why you should stop this, why you should stop this. They will not listen to you, but just not until the breakdown. So, and the same thing is what we're also seeing in the workplace too. So these are things that consciously we have to bring to the minds of the HRs to let them also work around the health of the staff, deliberately prevention, like to be very deliberate about prevention. Then we also have the short-term financial thinking, because prevention pays off in 2 to 5 years. Initially, it might look like it's very, very expensive, but by the time you look at it in the long run, it actually pays the company and it saves you a lot of money. Then again, another one is also, you know, us celebrating the bouncing back story more than never broke down story, because a lot of times the cultural narrative, we just celebrate as, okay, oh, I'm able to bounce back, but we are not talking about the story that's, okay, well, you don't even want to grow, you don't even want to go broke. Now I'm talking about now when it comes to the leadership now. You don't even want to go broke and everything. So how are we able to sustain ourselves to ensure that we don't fall into crisis. So the math is actually simple, because when I was doing the old calculation, I saw that prevention burnout cost about 10 to 20% of what it costs to recover from, and what it costs to recover from it. And these are the medical leave, replacements, when you lose productivity, the moral, the team morale, the morale is just damaged and everything. So prevention is one of the highest high investments in a business. Let's take it. It is actually one of the highest, and sometimes can be very expensive when you want to start, but over time, it reduces, the cost reduces, and in the long run, it actually prevents you from spending much more money. So one of the things, yeah. So one of the things HR leaders want to do is maybe propose a burnout prevention audits. These are things that you can put in place.
Thank you very much. We must be very, very intentional about these issues as leaders so that we can quickly address them. Mr. Ayodeji, I would round up with you. And I want you to please kindly let us know from a practical standpoint, what is one habit that management should retire from forever? What should employees immediately start doing for their own well-being? And what must we all as employees expect in the next 5 to 10 years? Just in 30 seconds. I know that's a lot, but just in 30 seconds. Thank you.
Okay. Management must eradicate the master-servant mindset. The mindset of the workplace that drives the culture must change. So eradicate master-servant mindset. In terms of the people must cultivate habits. Cultivating habits can be a long journey. In Better Life, we have something called we have 8 habits or 10 habits called the Better Life Way, right? And time will fail me to go through everything. But approach well-being from a holistic manner. Well-being is not just about physical well-being. There are 8 domains of well-being.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Ayodeji. Master servant perspective that we must stop immediately. Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists for the insights you've shared with us today. I want to believe that our participants have been able to pick 1 or 2 things that would help them after now. And to the leadership of the CIPM, thank you for making this dialogue possible. Let's all remember that a healthy worker isn't just a happy worker. They are a sustainable business asset. So let's go back to our offices and move from survival to significance. Thank you everyone for having us today. And from us, it's Happy World Safety and Health Day. Stay safe and stay well. My name is Helen Otino Ajaidu, ACIPM. Thank you so much. Madam Registrar, thank you for having us. I'll hand over to you at this point to take over from here. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much to our panelists and to our moderator. Such an interesting and engaging session. And I wish we could go on and on. But again, we have to respect the time of our members and our participants in the session. But we'll come to the proper vote of thanks later. But thank you very much. I'd like to run us through a few announcements for the Institute in terms of programs and our events. And we are actually very, very dedicated and committed to continuous development of our members. And that's why we have the volume of learning sessions that we've had in the past couple of days. We've actually had 3 so far in 2 days. And I think we deserve a round of applause. So maybe your emoticons and emojis should start going for CIPM now in appreciation. Thank you very much. So we have the 3rd academic conference is here and is going to be happening from Tuesday, 2nd of June to Wednesday, 3rd of June, 2026. And the theme is Artificial Intelligence in Academia, Industry and Governments. Navigating Ethics, Innovation, and Impact. The conference would feature keynote speeches, plenary sessions, technical sessions, paper presentation, and is open to everyone, including academics, researchers, students, postgraduates, HR professionals, lecturers, public and private sector professionals, members, and non-members alike. Kindly view the registration fees on the screen and details of how to register. The HR Oscars is here and open to organizations, including SMEs. We've just had a session on good psychosocial working environments. If you want CIPM and the responsible committee of council to actually be at your door or be at your organization to help you vet your practices, your policies, your procedures, especially on this particular topic that we covered today, kindly engage with us and actually apply to be part of the HR Oscars. It's not just about the award, it's also about the fact that you have an opportunity for free consulting, comprehensive HR performance report, instant feedback on your processes, and much more. Deadline for application is Thursday, 7th of May, 2026, and is open to organizations across the public and private sectors of the economy, including our corporate members. Corporate member organizations, you're also welcome. Visit www.cipmnigeria.org/HR Oscars. The Special HR Forum 2026 will hold on Thursday, 26th of June, 2026. The theme, People, Policy, and Performance in the Age of AI. HR Leadership for Economic Transformation and Poverty Reduction. Coming up next, be sure to register and secure your spot against Thursday, 25th of June, 2026. The 57th Annual General Meeting and Elections is fast approaching. Kindly note that the eligibility requirements to vote include that your subscription must be paid up to 2025 and that your email address and phone numbers are updated on your portal. And that's the CIPM membership portal. To contest to lead, subscriptions must be paid up to 2026. And you must possess an active HR practitioner's license as a certified member of the Institute. Please note that sanctions and election guidelines will be circulated shortly. The AGM notice will also be going out shortly, and we've been circulating information surrounding the activity timeline for the AGM. This is quite an important part of what we do as an institute in terms of our annual general meeting and elections. If you do not remember your membership ID, please contact membership@cipmnigeria.org or subscriptions@cipmnigeria.org. The 58th International Conference and Exhibition is almost here. The theme, Repositioning for Value and Impact, 21st September to 24th September 2026. There'll be networking opportunities, panel sessions, exhibition, fun activities, and valuable takeaways. Those that were in attendance last year can attest to that. This is a must-attend event for HR professionals. This is the biggest HR conference in the whole of Africa. And we're looking forward to welcoming you again to Abuja. Come on, let's see the emoticons going and the emojis. We're looking forward to receiving you in Abuja. For sponsorship inquiries, please contact us by sponsorship@cipmnigeria.org. There's a dedicated WhatsApp group available for conference updates. Kindly check the chat box for details. Alongside the conference, we'll also have a pre-conference training ahead of the main conference, Sunday, 20th of September to Monday, 21st of September, 2026. Please do not miss this. Kindly view this flyer on the screen and visit our social media pages or CIPM Communication WhatsApp group for details. The CIPM app is live. Have you downloaded the app? It's available on the App Store and Google Store for Android users. With the CIPM mobile app, you can seamlessly access your member portal and conveniently pay your subscription all in one place. Download now and stay connected. If you're a member and would like to receive updates via WhatsApp, kindly check the chat box for the link to join CIPM Communications WhatsApp group strictly for CIPM members. There is also a dedicated WhatsApp group for non-members. We like to receive you in CIPM, so would like to actually use that to draw you in. So it's an opportunity for you to join that and receive updates on our webinars and programs that are free for you to attend. Kindly check the chat box for the registration link. Your lapel pin is your badge of honor and should be worn at official functions and CIPM events. And I'll add to that, it should be worn every day, actually, at work. You need to kindly represent the institute proudly by wearing your lapel pins. You can obtain one at the CIPM headquarters, zonal offices, academic conference, our international conference, and all events of the institute where you're physically present. Membership subscriptions can be paid via the portal quickly and seamlessly. I would actually advise that you do that via the portal because it updates you. And if employers or future employers are checking as to whether you're a member or a certified member of CIPM, they only have to go onto the website, put in your name, and it comes up. And it doesn't take so long to get your details updated very quickly if you pay via the portal. Your HR practitioner's license renewal, if it has expired, kindly renew today. HRPL license at cipmnigeria.org is the email address to contact us on. Phone number is +234 702 570 9873. Unlock exclusive benefits with the CIPM Members Cooperative. We have a multi-purpose cooperative society for you, and that's part of your membership value proposition. Join today and start enjoying a range of value-added opportunities designed to support you. Inquiries, call 090-321-19034. CIPM members cooperatives at gmail.com is the email address for this. Don't miss out. Be part of something beneficial. Invest in your future. 2026 training calendar. CIPM offers monthly training programs, including in-house corporate training, virtual training, physical classroom sessions. For inquiries, contact learning at cipmnigeria.org and visit our website to download the training calendar. There are opportunities for organizations to advertise via our website. For bookings, contact marketing at cipmnigeria.org. A lot of members are losing opportunities to upgrade in good time. There is no benefit for you to be on an associate grade for 20 years before you upgrade. The waiting time or the period in which you need to upgrade from associate to full membership is 6 years. If you're due for an upgrade based on what I've just said, kindly contact upgrade applications at cipmnigeria.org. An accelerated membership upgrade option is also available if you meet the criteria. Kindly visit our website for details. You can contact the Institute. We have a call center 070-0123-7555, or you can contact the customer care via WhatsApp +234 810 125 5917. We're available Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Our email is contactcenter@cipmnigeria.org. If you have not been receiving communication from CIPM or you have recently changed any of your personal details, kindly send your updated details to subscriptions@cipmnigeria.org. This would ensure that we are actually in touch with you all the time and you do not miss out on any of the activities, messages that we are sending out to our members. Ensure that your membership subscription is up to date. I cannot stress this enough. Active financial members have access to a range of benefits, including a CIPM welfare scheme, which is the group life insurance. And we don't pray for this to happen whilst we're young, but beneficiaries are entitled to benefit this in the event of the death of a financially active member. So please pay your dues up to date alongside other membership value propositions I've just mentioned, including access to the cooperative multipurpose society. CIPM Marketplace. Financial members can shop for items at discounted prices through the CIPM Marketplace. Take advantage of those exclusive offers, especially in this soft economic times. I'm not going to call it hard. The CEO CHRO HRD Forum is coming up in July, 16th of July. We encourage members to invite and register their CEOs, their HRDs, their permanent secretaries, heads of service, because this is a forum that cuts across public and private sector of the economy. Seats are limited, so there's a registration number on view for you. We also have an opportunity for you to host your next event, training sessions, parties, and small group outings at our institute. Our halls are open and ready for you. To book a place, please call +234 803 585 0635. Thank you very much for listening to all the announcements, and you can get further details by visiting our website and also looking out on our social media platforms, and also look out for emails that we send to our members. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like, as we begin to draw to close on this very important interactive World Day for Safety and Health at Work commemoration in terms of the webinar that we've just held, I'd like to invite the Vice President of the Institute, Mrs. Chidima Obiejesi, FCIPM, to please deliver the vote of thanks alongside the closing remarks. Over to you, Madam Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam C. Confirm that you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Oh, thank you very much. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The President and Chairman of Governing Council, permit me, sir, to stand on already established protocol. I will just go on to appreciate our panelists and distinguished speakers. As we conclude this enlightening session in commemoration of this year's World Day for Safety and Health at Work, I am truly honored to be expressing our gratitude on behalf of the Institute. First, may I thank you, our dear speakers and panelists, and the moderator, well done, for a well-coordinated event. And for our speakers, thank you so much for your deep insight into our theme, good psychosocial working environment, pathway to striving workers and strong organizations. You have brilliantly reminded all of us here today that a safe workplace is one that protects not just the body, but also protects the mind. As the saying goes, leadership is not about being in charge, but it is about taking care of those in your charge. And what you've done today, your expertise, the knowledge shared, the insights given has given us a clear roadmap to do exactly that, which is to take care of those in our charge as HR professionals. I will also just thank our President and Chairman of Governing Council, the entire leadership, and the HQ team led by our own CEO for consistently, and I mean consistently, like she said earlier, this is our third learning session this week alone, providing a platform for intellectual discourse that elevates the HR profession and champions the welfare of the Nigerian workforce. So the entire team, thank you so much and God bless you. Thank you, our moderator, for seamless coordination and for also ensuring technology bridged the gap between us today. And to you, our participants, the HR leaders and safety advocates that you are, Thank you for your time and engaging in this session throughout. Your commitment to creating environments where employees don't just survive, but that they thrive, is what will make our organizations truly resilient. We leave you with the words of Simeon Senior. Customers will never love a company until the employees love it first. So let's make our employees love our company by the care, the love, the attention. They are taking their health into consideration. Thank you all and have a safety conscious day. Because at CIPM, this is what we do every day. Yesterday, we did the same, upskilling, honing your skills, and I'm preparing you, not just for tomorrow, but for today, because the tomorrow we all talked about is here to stay. And that is our reality today. So thank you, distinguished colleagues, for joining this call. Thank you, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Over to you, Madam CE.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President. And for everyone asking, you would get the recording of the session today. In addition to that, you can always visit our YouTube page for the recording as well. It will be made available, so you can access that. You would only get the recording in as much as you have registered and we have your correct email address. If not, you'd have to revert to our YouTube page. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And at this point, would like to draw this webinar series to a close. It's actually a webinar series because we're running loads of them. And say thank you once again for joining us. And we do hope that when we share more information surrounding the events of the Institute, you would join us as we continue as CIPM to deliver value through people. So would rise now as we take the national anthem, the third stanza as a prayer. Thank you. Can we rise, please? We'll just sing, "O God of all creation." 1, 2, go.
O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for attending, and do enjoy the rest of the day, and happy Workers' Day in advance. Happy
Thank
Workers'
you,
Day.
Registrar CE. It's good to see your face.
Please, can you join the president and chairman of the governing council? Is going to be on TVC at 7:20 a.m. TVC breakfast. It's going to be talking about the Workers' Day. So please don't forget, join the president and chairman of the governing council, Malam Ahmed Laran Gobrel, 7:20 a.m. Workers' Day program on TVC. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a nice day, Registrar.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.